All right, hello, welcome back to the stream. Working on the GMTK jam. I guess it's technically the third day, but second day streaming, so day 2 of streaming, I suppose. Before I get into it, I want to once again pitch my stuff. So you may have seen recently that I do not have a job anymore, so I don't have a stable source of income. So my only income is coming from sales of my game and my Udemy courses. So you could pick both of those up or any of those things up in the description below. If you can help me out financially, that would be great. You also get a course out of it or a game out of it. And if you can't support me financially or don't want to for whatever reason, that's totally fine. Subscribing and watching my videos is a great way to support my work as well. So with that out of the way, hello everyone. Hello Abo. Hello Darda Saba, if I said your name right. Yeah, so we're doing the GMTK jam. It's a 96-hour jam. 96-hour jam this time, which started on Friday. So we're already a couple days into the jam. And so I guess I'll just talk through my idea and then we can go over what's going on or what's going to be happening in this stream. And of course, the cat now is being annoying right when I start streaming. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got. Oops, let me turn all this ugly stuff off. So the idea, well, I should start with the theme is built to scale. And so the way I've implemented this or interpreted this theme is that you have 3 different scales of player character here. It's the blue guy with the baseball cap. And small versions of your player can only kill small versions of the enemy, which are these red guys. And medium version of the player can only kill medium versions of the enemies, and so on and so forth. Each different player character has a unique ability. So we've got the dash in place for the small guy. We can throw dynamite with the big guy here, or the medium guy rather. And then the big guy has a leap slam that he can use to knock back enemies. So even though your damage only works if you match the size of the enemy, you can still knock enemies back with all variants of the player. So I can smack this little dude as much as I want, get him into the corner there. And I can only kill him though by shooting him dead right there. So after you clear a wave, you will be presented with 3 different upgrade options, 1 for small, 1 for medium, and 1 for large. And these are just a way of changing your build. So in large, for instance, I have jump slam repeats an additional time, and so I can get more damage out of the jump slam for this guy. Now there's no effects in place, obviously, so it's really hard to tell if it's working or not, but so yeah, that's the gist of the game. Basically just an action kind of game. And, ooh, that's wrong. I have to figure out why that bug is happening. That should only happen after I kill the last dude. But anyway, so that's the gist of the game. In this stream, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding some ability cooldowns. Well, let's just take a look at my list here. So, got to do a boss at some point. That'll happen after like 10 or so waves, or maybe 5 waves. I don't know. I have to play it, make sure it works really good. But we got to do ability cooldowns. So right now, if I go into the game, I can just spam my abilities as much as I want. So like this, I can just throw a bunch of dynamite, which is not good, obviously. And what else do we got to do? Remove one-time abilities from the valid pool. Yeah, so right now there are some ability upgrades you can get that only really take effect once, or it doesn't make sense for you to have multiple versions of that ability upgrade. And so I need to be able to remove that from the upgrade pool, so to speak. We could design some more abilities as well. But what I might start doing in this stream is implement ability cooldowns, but then maybe start doing some either UI elements or some polish elements, start adding some either screen shake or particle effects or all of the above. So we'll just kind of see how the stream goes and what we're feeling like working on. Hello, Master Car. It's going well. How are you doing? Like this idea? Thank you, Abo. So let's do ability cooldowns. Now the good question here is, do I want to make each player size ability cooldown independent, or do I want to just have a generic global ability cooldown that that affects all of the special abilities? I think what I'll probably do is do an individual cooldown for each of the abilities. So just trying to think how I want to do that, because I'm going to have to indicate that on the screen somewhere as well. But let's get the cooldown logic in place first. There's no reason we need to worry about the UI just yet. So the player, my player class here, it basically contains all of the variants of the player size under a single class, which can get a little bit hairy, but it's all right for the most part. So let's go ahead and add a child node, timer, and let's just do ability timer small, and then we'll do ability timer large, or medium, and then ability timer large. Okay, and we've got these three things. Let's turn all of these onto one shot, and then the small, let's leave that at 1 second wait time. Let's do a 2 second wait time for the medium, and then maybe we'll do let's start with a 2 second wait time for the large timer as well. And let's go ahead and get a reference to all these things. There's like a special way that I can do this, right? Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. There we go. Nope, that's not right. Okay. I'm gonna get this eventually. There we go. All right, ability timer, small, large, there we go. Cool. So all of these are one shot, yes. Okay. This one needs to be a wait time of 2. There we go. So what do I need to do here? So I have a map, special input callable map. So handle special input small, like so. So let's do this. Let's do ability timer small dot start. Handle special input medium. Now, where do I want to do this? Yeah, I think in here, I need to check first if ability timer small dot is stopped. Then we want to start it, and then we can change the state. Or the simpler thing to do would be, if not ability timer is stopped, return. I'll just do an early return instead of indenting everything, because then I can just copy this and ability timer medium, ability timer medium dot start, and then same deal here. Ability timer large. All right, let's go ahead and see if that works. So all right, that's looking great. Nice. You know what? I think I just realized something. I had that bug earlier where the upgrades were being shown while there was still an enemy on screen. I think I know why that might be happening. So enemy.gd, I'm emitting this game events emit enemy killed when on died is fired, but that could be firing multiple times. So what I want to do is I want to do var is dying equals false. And then in here, if is dying return is dying equals true. So that will prevent the died signal from being handled multiple times, which means that this emit enemy killed will not be fired multiple times, because when this is fired, the counter for the number of enemies left in the level decrements by 1. And so if this gets called twice for the same enemy, it's going to decrement the counter by 2 instead of 1, which is going to throw everything off. So we want this to be guaranteed to only fire once, and so that's why I added the flag there. That should fix that issue. Or at least that was an issue. Maybe it wasn't the particular issue, but that should fix an issue anyway. I also have basic level scaling in place so that if I keep playing the game, it gets gradually more difficult, but more tweaking to do there for sure. Bam. Now, one thing I have to check is I think I might be able to attack while I'm leap slamming, or maybe not. Oh, no, I can't. Okay. Bam. That leap slam is a lot of fun, let me tell you what. Okay, so what was I doing? So we've got ability timers in place. Cool. All good. So this gives us an opportunity to also add new abilities that decrease the wait time of those timers. So that's also good. Yeah, let's just go ahead and commit that, I guess. Hello, Nikita. Decided to go to sleep early today. Nice. Welcome back. Thanks for coming back in. Didn't know you could drag and drop nodes automatically declare on ready. Yeah, if you hold control, you can do that. And the reason I was having troubles is because I was selecting all of these and then I was trying to hit control and drag and it was deselecting the last one. But yeah, if you hold control and then on the last one, click and hold, you can drag them on over, so on and so forth. So, am I also on Twitch or 100% YouTube? No, just YouTube. I think YouTube is just better for my channel specifically. Keeps all the videos in one place. A lot of people go and watch the YouTube videos, streams after the fact. And so that's very nice. Having it splintered across YouTube and Twitch would be not so good. Sorry, I had to get my cat under the blanket. All right. So, what are we doing now? Should we work on some polish elements? Let's take a look. So I need a boss. Ability cooldowns are donezo. Let me zoom this in so you guys can see it. So that's done. More abilities, very descriptive, very descriptive. Let's see. What would make the most impact? I think we could probably do... Maybe we should just start working on some particles. What do you think? Let's maybe make this game look a little bit nicer. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to, yeah, let's do it. So main, let's see, instantiate. I have a custom like shaky camera 2D. So let's put that in there. And shake decay, that's fine. We'll use all those default ones. So yeah, I just have like an add-on that gives me a shaky camera that I can use immediately, which is very nice. And so what I can do now is I can shake this camera in certain situations. Now the question is, how do I want to do this? Let's delete this for now. Let's create a new scene, node 2D. I'm just going to make this camera a singleton, which is typically not going to be good practice, but I think for the game jam, it's going to be fine. So I'm going to call this game camera. Then I'm going to go ahead and save that in scenes, game object, that's fine. Add child node, shaky camera 2D. Add a script. Oh my gosh, got to go through all the boilerplate. You know how it is. And then let's go ahead and call this game camera for our class name. Like so. Let's do static. Let's do this. Static var instance game camera. Okay. Func notification. What if what is equal to notification scene instantiated? We're going to set instance equal to self. And then what we can do is we can grab an onReady at onReady var shaky camera 2D. Cool. And then we can do static func shake amount float instance dot shaky camera dot, what is it called? Oh, do I need to assign this specifically? Let's do it. Are you serious? This doesn't have a class name? Well, that's okay. I'm not going to change anything there. Let's just close this. It's just called shake. So in the game camera, shake amount. Okay, and we get rid of this type. So now I can just call game camera dot shake, and that will shake the specific instance of the game camera. So it's kind of like an auto load node, but not really. So now I can go to my main, instantiate that game camera, like so, put it up here, and now I need to figure out when I want to shake that. So when do I want to shake it? So on enemy, let's see. Do I want to do this? One thing I could do is I have this hit parameters, and this hit parameters is basically a custom class that transfers a bunch of information from a hitbox to a hurt box. So I've got things like damage, I've got things like what the size of the player is, knockback force, knockback direction, you know, that kind of thing. And so do I want to put the camera shake on here? And the reason is because I want to handle different hits differently. So if a bullet hits an enemy, I don't necessarily want to shake the camera in that case. I do want to shake the camera when a bullet is shot by the player. But in the case of like swinging the hammer, I only want to shake the camera not on a hammer swing, but on a hammer impact, right? So there's a couple of differences in behavior when I want to actually add that camera shake. So I need to figure out exactly how I'm going to do that. But for now, let's just go into the shoot small and shoot medium here. And let's just do game camera dot shake. And let's just do like 0.5 for the amount there. And then in here, game camera dot shake, we'll do 0.75. So it's on a scale of 0 to 1, the amount of shake, and I believe it has exponential fall off, but I could be mistaken there. Okay, so our camera shake is not quite that good, and also the camera is all wonky. So let's fix that. I'm just going to change this transform, or I'm going to change the anchor mode to fixed top left, and that should fix it. Oops. Okay, so it's kind of working. The problem is I need to tweak these shaky camera numbers now. So my max shake offset should probably be something like 10. Frequency multiplier, let's try something like 1,000. My defaults here are not very good on the shaky camera, so it's actually kind of nonsensical. I'm not super happy with how I've done it, so I'm gonna have to play with these numbers until I get something that looks good to me. Turn down the max shake offset. That's too much of a shake even though I'm using 0.5. Let's try exponential decay. Yeah, that's not working either. What happens if I do like a 4,000 frequency multiplier? That's probably too much. Again, these numbers are just kind of like garbage numbers. I need to rebuild this camera with more sensible properties. The other thing I could do is I can change this fast noise light and I can increase the frequency here. So it basically just uses this noise texture to determine to determine the offset because it gives you like smooth transitions. Domain warp, what does that do? Ooh, interesting. Okay, let's see if that works. Maybe what I'll do is, I know this is not super thrilling viewing experience, just watching me play with numbers until I get something good. Typically, it just takes a little bit of finicking and then it's fine. I think that's almost good. I'm just going to turn the frequency up even more. I might use that exponential decay now. Oops. Problem with exponential decay is that it doesn't really end up working that well. So maybe I'll turn exponential decay. Oh, the shake decay. What if I turn that up? Okay, that's feeling a little bit better. I'm going to turn off these visible collision shapes. That's kind of annoying. I think it's still shaking too much. So I think either I need to reduce this frequency or increase it. Let's try increasing it first. Yeah, I think the frequency actually needs to be decreased. That shake might be too much still, though. Max shake offset, let's try 6. That's the interesting thing, though, is that I'm using like a 0.5, so it's not even the full amount, which makes me wonder what the full amount looks like. So if I take this to 1, that actually feels good. I think that frequency may be just a little bit too high still. Okay, let's try that. Riveting live stream content. Okay, you know what? I'm going to stop finicking with it and just say that's good for now. And you know what I could do is if I'm still not super satisfied with this, I can turn that down to 0.4 for the shoot small. The problem is that at certain values, you actually just don't see the camera shaking at all. So that's kind of the thing that I'm struggling with at the moment. But let's just turn the frequency up just a little bit. Let's turn the max shake offset back up to 8. The shake decay is fine where it is. We'll just go with that. Yeah, I'm not entirely happy with how that shake is working yet, but I will I'll address that later. Hello, Gabe. Your past stream popped up on my recommended and I watched it when sitting. Just happened to be awake when you went live. Nice. Enjoying the stream, very calm and relaxing to watch. Well, I'm glad. Yeah, this stream is kind of like I think it's a nice like hangout. I've got a lot of people that work on their own games while watching the stream. So we're doing kind of like a game jam, you know, or not just a game jam, just like a game development meetup kind of co-working, you know. That's the vibe that a lot of people have gotten, I think. So it's cool. I like it. And having you all here to help bounce ideas off of and get feedback is also really, really helpful. So what are we doing? What are we doing? What am I doing? So we've got the game camera shake. That's fine. Let's just add the shake in the other places. So this is the part where it's going to be tricky because I only want the shake to happen when the, the big hammer actually connects with an enemy. So what I could do is I could do in my hit parameters, what I could potentially do, hurt box component. Yeah, so I think what I could do, so if this on area entered and register raycast, let's do this. Hit parameters, let's add a parameter on here, var camera shake amount, float, we'll set that to 0 by default. And then let's put that in there, params.camera shake amount equals parameters.camera shake amount. Okay, so we've got that camera shake amount here. Now, what am I gonna do? So in the hurtbox component, which intercepts a hitbox component and gets those hit parameters, what I can do down here is I can say if hit parameters dot camera shake amount is greater than 0, I can do game camera dot shake hit parameters dot camera shake amount. So that now is going to allow me to, in the player here, when I do this swing box here, I can do swing box dot hit parameters dot camera shake amount equals 0.75, like so. And then where's my jump controller? Jump area controller.gd. So this is spawning those jump areas. And I think what I'll do, instead of attaching that camera shake to the hit parameters, what I'm going to do in here is do game camera dot shake 1. So now what I should see is when I jump, bam, bam. But now, yeah, getting camera shake when I'm hitting those guys too. Boom. Get you out of here. This is feeling so good right now. I cannot wait for you guys to play this. But I can't screw it up now. Actually, I'm kind of worried about not being able to finish it in time. I think I might have to cut some of the scope that I have planned, but we'll see. I really want to replace this environment here. That's probably one of the last things that I should do, but the gray is just, oh, it's just so soul killing. The Godot gray. Ugh. So anyway, so we've got some camera shake in place. There's going to be more. I want to do that. Actually, there's one other thing I want to do, which is that when an enemy dies, I want to shake the camera as well. So I'm going to, in my game camera, do ready game events dot enemy killed dot connect on enemy killed, and we'll just shake that camera in here. Let's put the static function above, and then yeah, func on enemy killed, and we'll just do something simple like 0.5. Yeah, shake 0.5. Oh, you know what? The other thing is that the dynamite needs to have a blow up as well. So let's go ahead and do that really quick. Dynamite area. Or dynamite here. Yeah. So dynamite area dot burst. Let's do game camera dot shake 1. Nice. Cool. Okay, let's go ahead and commit those. So added camera shake. Let's mark that off of our list here. These are things that are all going to be works in progress, but when I get like 80% of it done, I mark it as complete. And then what I'll do is that mostly tomorrow is I'm just going to run through the game and I'm just going to tweak everything and polish everything up, do a lot of play testing. Maybe I'll add more abilities tomorrow, like figure it all out basically. But for now, I'm just trying to get the 80% complete for all of these things, which will give me, it basically gets me 80% of the way there. Let's change the environment here. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to open a sprite. And let's open up my mockup here. This color right here is kind of an off-white. So I'm going to copy that color from my palette. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on the main. So this color rectangle is pure white right now. Let's put the off-white in there and see what that looks like. Yeah, I'm kind of worried that that is going to, that doesn't look as good as the white, I don't think. Well, anyway, let's, I'll break the palette rules a little bit. We could keep it pure white, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add another color rectangle here. Actually, I'll just duplicate it and make it a child, I guess, and then move it down a couple. I'm gonna close, let's see. Move these static bodies into their own node here and then hide that because I don't want to see that. Okay. I also don't need to see the reference rect anymore, so I'm going to hide that. And then for this color rectangle, what we're going to do is we're going to change it to that off-white color. And then let's do visibility show behind parent. And so now we get kind of like a hard line there, which makes it look more like a box. More like a platform. Now that's not exactly as strong as I want it to be. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna do this in Asprite. So what do we got here? We got, it's 450 by 250, probably want 10 pixels or so in the Y, so 450 by 260. So let's do that. 450 by 260. And let's go ahead and just, well, we can create like a 10 pixel high. There we go, like so. Drag this around. Okay, we'll select that color that we were using for the bottom of it, and then we'll just cheat a little bit. Oh, did I not save this? Why is the transparent there? Let's get rid of that. Save palette as default. Load default palette. Okay, I may have used the wrong color. D6FE, right? Is that what it is? Right, okay. So now I'm using the correct color palette. Let's add white. All right, so we've got our arena essentially now. So now that we've got the arena, what I want to do is actually might make this color a little bit darker down here. But what color do I want to make it? Not the same color as the player. Maybe just that gray right there. And then what I can do is I can add an edge along here. Gives it a little bit of a harder edge right there. And what else I could do is maybe take the purple down here and just give it like a bottom edge. No, I don't know about that purple. Let's try this purple. This could actually maybe be 2 pixels tall. Let's try it with just 1 pixel. Okay, so let's save this in assets. Let's create a new folder, environment, and let's call this arena.png. Okay, let's go back in here. Gonna add sprite 2D. Let's bring over that arena. Alrighty. So this needs to be centered now. We're gonna do it very scientifically. Oh, I extended my boundaries a little bit. Here, let's put this above. So my transform is 320 by 185. That sounds correct, I suppose. Yeah, I think that's correct. Okay. Let's just make extra super sure. Okay. And let's just go ahead and lock this position so I don't accidentally move it. So let's see how that looks. Yeah, I don't know about the bottom edge there being purple. Let's go ahead and just fill that back in. Now what I could do is I could, I wonder if I gave it the arena a black outline like everything else in the game. That might look kind of cool actually, but I'm going to change this line to be thicker. So we got a thicker edge there. I think that probably fits with the theme a little bit better. Yeah, I think that looks better. I could give it like a little bit of an angle, I suppose. Whoops, I keep trying to edit in a sprite, so I could do something like... I don't really think the perspective is going to work for this, but... let's just see how that looks. Interesting. That might actually look all right. Let's see. I don't know. Do you think it looks good with the perspective, or should I keep it flat? I don't like those bright edges there. Let's just put it back to the normal color. Doesn't look terrible. Morning. Good to see you. 2 a.m. here. Oh, wow. Welcome to the stream, Virtually Retro. Brisbane, huh? Bonjour, Richa. Why are you using GDScript in game jams? Primary reason is because I want to make a web HTML5 build available, and I don't think that's possible with C# yet in Godot. What kind of game is this? It's a basically like an arena shooter kind of game. So think of games like Brotato, except with more control. Basically just condensing down Gunforged's loop into a game here. Learned Godot by one of your Udemy courses, and now I'm working on my own GMTK entry while watching you. Awesome, nice. Glad to hear that. Always love to hear when the Udemy courses are helping people out. Yeah, I think maybe I'll keep, I don't know, I'm kind of deciding if I want to keep, let me see if adding the thick borders is good. So I'm just going to chop some of this off just for testing purposes. I think that looks pretty good, actually. Maybe I'll keep that. Yeah, maybe I'll keep that. The one thing I do want to do though is bring that in, bring the corners in just a little bit. That is going to look good, I think. Nice. Nice. All right, let's do a background. I think I have an idea of what I want a background to be. I've kind of done this before, but let's go ahead and do it again. So basically, take a 128 by 128 square, make it, well, how do I want to do this? Some kind of grayscale, I think. Or I could just use my color palettes here, so let's do blue. Blue. And then a darker blue. That's probably not going to look good. But we'll see. So what you can do when you have something that's tileable like that is if I go and add a texture rect, is that what I want to do? Add a texture rect behind everything, increase its ratio like that, change the mouse mode to ignore so it's not affecting anything. We bring over the... No, texture rect is not going to work, I don't think. Well, we'll see. See if it works. Effect, bring over the background. Now we don't want it to keep. Yeah, something like that. And then we add a shader to it. New shader material, shader, new shader. We'll call it background. We'll just save it in there. Create. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Get rid of the vertex shader. Okay, so we'll do vec4 color is equal to texture, texture, UV, and then color dot, or rather color dot RGBA equals color GBA. Need semicolons here. Okay, I think I might have to use a different thing for this. So uniform, sampler 2D, background texture. Drag that background texture over. Yeah, so the problem is I need to change this type to a color rectangle, I think. There we go. How do I do this? I actually don't remember how to do this. I don't want it to stretch, I want it to repeat. Well, anyway, the thing I'm trying to do is like do a vec2 and then you do like something like 0.01 times time, 0.02 times time. And what you get is you get like a scrolling background like this. but it's not quite working the way that I want it to. Do I need to make this a sprite? I actually don't remember how to do this. Oh, I dragged over the wrong thing anyway. So if I do 256 by 256, but I make the rectangle like 2000 by 2000. Oh, I changed. Oh, whoops. Whoops. Do this and then change the texture repeat enabled. Okay. Something like that. And then if I do this texture here. Okay. Maybe that's going to work the way I want it to. Okay. Jeez. I'm not super brushed up on how all this goes, but we'll just do something like that. Now that's probably too intense. But what I can do is I can also rotate this. Yeah, look at that. So I could rotate it and I could make it less intense, basically. Let's do 45-degree angle. Where's my shader editor? Just gonna play with these numbers a little bit, get it to work. There we go. So you can basically just scroll the UV over time. Yeah, it looks good. Use my Google food? Nah. Looks cool so far. I can tell what kind of games you like. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. So I think, do I want to play with these colors a little bit? Do I want to play with these colors? Let's see. Because I could do something darker even. No. I just want, like, this color maybe to be... I'm going to break my rule and deviate from the palette a little bit. And then here, we'll turn this opacity down. Make it a little bit less intense. I think that looks fine. Yeah, so we'll just go with that for now. So just give everything some motion, get rid of that ugly gray. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's commit what we got here. Okay. So I'm going to take this moment now to once again hawk my Udemy course. So thank you for everyone for watching. First of all, I'm not ending the stream yet. I know it sounds like I am, but we still got plenty more work to do. But thank you all for being here. And if you want to support my work, you can check out the links in the description to pick up one of my games or my Udemy course. And also subscribing and watching the videos helps. So if you're not in a position or you don't want to financially support, then that's totally fine. Go ahead and subscribe, watch my videos. That helps a ton as well. So we're gonna start working on some juicy particle effects real soon, but I need to take a quick 1 or 2 minute break first. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. If you could check out my Udemy courses while I'm away, I very much appreciate that. And we'll be back to do some particles in just a few minutes. All right, I'm back. Hello, Mike. Do you have a preference between GDScript or C# for Godot projects? Can't wait for the new course. Others have been great, thank you. I typically use C#. Gunforged is being built in or with C#. I think that you just have greater ability to architect systems with C#. You've got things like interfaces and abstract classes, and you've got more robust like static classes and stuff like that. You get link, of course, which is a great way of manipulating all kinds of collections and whatnot. You get hash sets. So there's all kinds of tools that are available to you that make certain things a lot easier. So that's why I prefer C# generally, but I have to say, I'm having a lot of fun with GDScript. For small game jam games, I'm not finding any problems whatsoever with GDScript. I think it's an absolute breeze and it's really fun and it's really quick. That's the other thing. I haven't yet built a very large project with GDScript, so I can't really talk too much about like where the pitfalls would be there. But yeah, I honestly think based on my experience, you can't really go wrong with either one. So I will say though that if you are working in a team, and especially if your team contains non-programmer type people, GDScript is probably the better option, because then your level designers or your artists can just, clone or download the project and just run it. Whereas with C#, you have to kind of walk them through the process of getting C# configured on their machine and like getting them building it and everything, and that can be a hassle. So if you're intending to share the project with other people or work on it in a shared fashion, GDScript is probably a better choice in that case. But, generally you just can't go wrong with either one. Was I a professional .NET developer? I was not. No, I was JavaScript developer. So I was doing full stack with JavaScript, TypeScript, React, Tailwind, CSS, all that kind of good stuff. All right, so let's do some particles. So the first thing that we need for any good particle system is we actually need the particles themselves. So let's do 16 times 4, 16, okay. So let's go ahead and paint some particles in here. And we'll just make these super chunky, like I typically do. There's one particle. There's another particle. There's another particle. There we go. Fix this one up just a little bit here. There we go. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so we'll save this. And this is what I'm going to use for everything. So that's my only particle sheet that I'm going to use. Let's start with some enemy impact particles, I suppose. So let's create a new scene. Let's do enemy impact particles. Let's create a new folder for this effect. Saved. All right. And just for scale, I'm going to do my enemy medium in here, just so I can see what these particles are looking like as I build them. So let's do GPU particles 2D. Okay. So our texture is going to be those particles that we got. New particle process material. Okay. Then in our material, we need to do a new canvas item material with particles animation turned on with 4 H frames. Okay. And then in our process material, we need to, this is a little bit different than the last time I used it. So let's figure out what is going on here. Display animation. Oh goodness, what is all of this? So we'll do a random offset. So there we go, min and max. And that gives us a random particle shape every time. Okay, so if you're gonna do an impact particle, what you typically want is you want the initial velocity to be very big. So the direction is, what you should do, generally speaking, is make the direction, well, maybe I won't even do a direction in this case. Maybe I'll just make it up and just have them come out. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. Initial velocity, so we can turn this up. Goodness, okay. Oops, -1 is up. Rookie mistake. So a min and max value. I typically like to turn the gravity up quite a bit as well. Where is the gravity? Gravity, here we go. Okay, now we want the explosiveness. Yeah, that's what we want. So first of all, we're turning off this interpolate. There we go. Explosiveness, 0.9 for impact. Lifetime can probably be something like 0.6. Okay. Back into the particle process material. Let's go ahead and change the color really quick. So I've got this little load palette thing. Assets, this, load that palette. And what that should do is that should put my color in my palette here. So where's my swatches? There we go. So now I can just say, there's my enemy color right there. All right. So that's coming out. We want to change the scale over time. Min, let's do 0.5. Max, let's do 1.5. Scale curve over time. Started at 0. accelerate to 1 very quickly, and then back down to 0 over time. Okay. And then let's turn the lifetime randomness to something like 0.5. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. And we can even make this initial velocity much higher. That might be too much, but we can see how that works. Yeah, that might be a little bit too much. So we'll tighten it up a little bit. We can change the amount as well. So let's try 5. Okay, so we'll just see how that works, and we'll just change it as we need to. I think that looks probably okay though. So I'm gonna get rid of this enemy medium. Cool, so I'm gonna go to my enemy script now. Let's do a preload. Well, let's do var enemy impact particles scene is equal to preload enemy impact particles. Okay. So now when we get hit, whoa, what's going on here? So now when we get hit, I think I'm detecting that somewhere. Hurtbox component, yeah, on hurtbox component hit. So every time we get hit, let's just spawn one of those things. So var particles is equal to that scene that we just loaded, instantiated as a node 2D. And then what we can do is we can do get parent dot add child particles dot global position is equal to hurtbox component dot global position. So we'll just spawn it from the center of the hurtbox. And the other thing that we need to do is in the enemy impact particles, what we can do is turn this on to one shot. We can add an animation player here, create a new animation called default. We're going to turn on the emitting on start. And then after 1 second, we're going to do a call method track on the root with Q free. Okay. And then once that's in place, we can set this to autoplay. And now we've got particles that will automatically play. Oops. And now we've got particles that will automatically play and then automatically free themselves. So now I can just spawn it and forget it. And so now in my enemy script, actually that should be fine. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Okay, that's a little bit juicy. That's a little bit juicy, but it's kind of going for what I'm going for. So I think there's a couple of changes to make. First of all, why is it not spawning in the correct spot? So if I go to my enemy small, I've got my hurtbox component here. My hurtbox component is unfortunately not aligned to the center. And so what I'm going to do, first of all, I need to change these visuals on this guy. Okay, so, and then this collision shape needs to be brought over, but this needs to go up to the center, and then this collision shape needs to be brought down, and then we'll do the same for the enemy medium. So hurtbox component is unfortunately at the very bottom here. Modify these visuals a little bit as well. Do I want to modify that? No, it was fine the way it was. Okay. This collision shape. No, this collision shape needs to be brought over. 1. Perfect. And then this hurtbox component needs to be like up here with the collision shape being brought down. Okay, and then we'll do the enemy large as well. Same thing here. Bring this all the way up, closer to like the eye level, and then bring the shape down. Okay, now that should be better. Okay, so there's a couple of things I want to do with this enemy impact particles. The first thing I want to do is I want to make them have a lot more velocity. So I'm actually am going to turn up this velocity quite a bit. So let's do minimum of 250, maximum of 350. But also what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down the lifetime to something like 0.4. So they're not going to fly as far. Okay, that's looking all right. I'm going to turn the amount down to 3, and I am going to turn down the velocity just a little bit again. Actually, maybe what I need to do is turn down the spread a bit, and maybe increase the gravity quite a bit. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. I think that's looking all right. What I want to do though is also play with the scale here. So this curve texture, I want to give it a little bit of wobbliness. Make it look like it's goop or something. We'll see how well that actually looks. Actually, that looks pretty good. It's just, I think this scale just needs to not drop so much right there. Oh, the one thing I'm missing too is I need some angular velocity as well. So angle, min, max. Radial acceleration, no, I need radial velocity. Negative 180 to 180. Let's see what that looks like now. Now I think something's going wrong here. Did I mess up the velocity somewhere? Or is it being spawned multiple times actually? Hold on a second. It might be being spawned multiple times, the particle effect. Maybe not though. I think I just need to turn down. Maybe I just need to turn down the velocity again. I keep going back and forth on that velocity, but I think that's probably what's causing me some issues here. I don't understand that. That doesn't seem right to me. I might have messed up the scale. Let's see. Particles are generally just like a lot of work here. Okay, that's looking better. I keep going back to this speed though. I think that this initial velocity, I'm going to put it back down to something more modest, like 100 and 200. And I think that'll probably be okay. Yeah, call it probably good for now. This is just the impact particles. But when they die is going to be the real thing. But first, what I want to do is I want to create a particles, like a background particles here. So let's go ahead and create a new node, node 2D. Behind the YSort root, let's just call it background layer. Yeah, I think that's fine. Let's add this to a group. How do I add a group? Okay, there we go. Background layer. I don't know what global and scene groups are, but whatever. We'll just add it to the background layer there. It's fine. It's a game jam. It doesn't matter. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually... Let's do this. Ooh, you know what? No. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to kind of make a really messy function here. Static func. Add node to background layer. Yeah, I'm going to make this a singleton too. Static var class main. Oh, class name. Well, if I'm doing this, then I might as well not use a layer here. I might as well just do add on ready var background layer like so. Add node to background layer, node, instance, dot background layer, dot add child node. Perfect. And then in our notification, if what is equal to notification scene instantiated, where is it? There it is. Instance equals self. Get rid of this ready method. Okay, perfect. So now when I go to the enemy script, instead of get parent.addChild, I'm going to do main.add node to background layer like so. And that's going to do that for me. So now all the particles are going to exist in that node behind everything. So none of the particles are going to render on top of the enemy. So it's going to look like it's coming out of them when they get hit. Okay, so now we need some death particles. I just want to try something really quick. Small. Nice. Okay, it's coming together. It's coming together. So, what was I doing? I need to do death particles now, but first let's go ahead and add impact particles. Boom. All right, death particle time. Now these are probably going to have to scale based on what the enemy size is, and I wonder, could I just scale the particles? Does that work? Because what I'm kind of tempted to do is I'm just going to duplicate this scene. So this enemy impact particles here. I'm just going to go ahead and in my effect, right click, duplicate, enemy death particles, like so. And then rename this in here to enemy death particles. GPU particles 2D, what we can do is make this process material unique. So that way it's unique. And then we're going to turn off one shot really quick, and we're going to turn off emitting. Let's increase the amount. We want the amount to be much larger, maybe even 15. We're going to turn the explosiveness down a little bit so it's more like a spray. Why is that starting? There shouldn't be particles that just stay right there. That's interesting. Do I have some kind of drag or friction on here? No damping. There shouldn't really be particles that are just stuck right there. Is it due to my gravity, I wonder? Yeah, I don't know why there are particles that are just hanging around the center there. The emission shape is a point. We probably want this to be a sphere. It's not this angle, is it? Let's see. Nope. That's interesting. I don't know why there shouldn't be particles that are really stuck at the origin like that. Oh well. Oh well. We'll just worry about that later. So let's turn down the spread here. We want it to be more vertical like that when an enemy dies. But then we're going to do like floor particles as well. So I'm going to duplicate this, make this unique as well. And then what I can do is I can turn this random, or this lifetime rather, we're going to change this time to be like 10 seconds. And we're going to turn the explosiveness up to like 0.95, like so. And the reason that we're going to do that is because now what we can do is, instead of having gravity here, what am I looking for? Accelerations, gravity, would turn the gravity to 0. And then we'll turn the emission shape. We got to turn the initial velocity off as well. So initial velocity, 0 and 0. And then we turn the emission sphere radius up to something like 16. Ooh, they still have quite a bit of... Oh, is my radial velocity a problem? Maybe that's the problem. How do I change the angle? Isn't there like an angle over time? I guess it's not radial velocity that I want to change. Is it? Oh, yeah, I don't want the radial velocity. So that's the problem. How do I change the... angle curve, I guess? Nope. There used to be a way you could just change the angle over time. Is that gone now? Is it angular? It's not angular velocity, I don't think, because that's going to make it rotate. Let's turn this lifetime to 3 seconds so I can see it better. Oh, maybe it is the... Interesting. So the angular velocity... Not, I don't want the radial velocity, I want the angular velocity. Yeah, okay. So I've got a couple of things to fix then. So instead of radial velocity here, I want angular velocity here, and then I'm also going to change that in my enemy impact particles here. So angular velocity 720, and then turn this to 0, 0. Yeah, okay. Fixed it. All right, that's looking much better. So let's call this pool particles, and let's call this explosion particles. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to turn this lifetime up to like 10 seconds. Not for the explosion particles, for the pool particles. 10 seconds. We can also change the scale on that. We don't want this rate. We don't want this angular velocity either. Get rid of that. We do want a random angle though. Okay, good. Good, good, good. And then in the scale, let's change this scale to 1.5 max, and then we want to hold that size for much longer. And then we'll just let that fade away. We can even improve this or increase that emission radius. And then we're going to turn this to one shot on. Okay, so what's going to happen here is we're going to do with this animation player, this explosion particles is going to be emitting. We're going to change this to like a 10-second animation. The explosion particles are going to be emitting and also one shot. But then after like a second, we're going to turn this one to emitting as well. So we're going to end up with something like that. Now for the pool particles here, I think what I'm going to do is go to the scale. Where's the scale? Where's the scale? Scrolling all the way down. Curve texture. We want this to scale up like really fast. Okay, well, it doesn't look super great right now, but let's throw it in the game and see what happens. So enemy small. When the enemy dies here, right here, we need to preload that var enemy death particles scene is equal to preload enemy death particles, like so. Var particles is equal to enemy death particle scene dot instantiate as node 2D, classic boilerplate. Main dot add node to background layer particles dot global position is equal to global position, and then we can queue free. All right, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay, there's quite a delay there, but but when it works, it'll work. And we need to increase that enemy death particles animation duration, I think. So why is there so much of a delay here? I don't understand. So, boom. I guess I'll just start them at the same time then. Let's see what happens. right. Okay, so that's looking kind of good. Kind of good is the question, or the statement here. I think what I need to do is I need to increase the initial velocity of this kind of death particle here now quite a bit. Let's just turn this on. Here's what I'm gonna do. Instantiate, not enemy manager, instantiate enemy medium. Explosion particles, one shot, let's go. Oh, I didn't make this. Okay, hold on. Make unique recursive. Yes. Goodness. Okay, I need to do this for everything. Make unique recursive. Yes. Make unique recursive. Yes. Okay. That scale texture was changing for everything. Okay. So the pool particles, that scale texture is correct. This scale needs to be changed now. Okay, and then my enemy impact particles, I think it probably got messed up here as well. Oh no, that one's good, okay. I was wondering why that looked so weird. Oh, what happened? Something went wrong. Oh. Yeah, I forgot to. Goodness. I forgot to remove my enemy medium from there. Okay. So that's all right. And then I need to turn this back to one shot. Lots of stuff when you're doing particles. Lots of stuff to take care of. Oh, yeah, you had animations that were playing that shouldn't have been. Yeah, particles always are like... Okay, so I think it's looking better. I'm going to answer your question a little bit, Arian. In just a second. Let me just fix this a little bit. So this particle process material. First of all, I'm going to turn the amount down for not the explosion, but for the pool particles. Turn that down, and then in the scale, I think that this needs to be even tighter of a bring in, and then the explosiveness probably needs to be even higher, 0.98, because it's such a long time scale. I'm not totally getting like the goopiness that I want out of this. I want them to feel like goopy globbies, but I think I can probably get some of that when I start animating the characters. And this is kid safe too, because it's not blood, it's just red goo. So once I add the explosion effects and once I add the gun effects, I think it's going to look really good. Obviously, I need to animate those cards as well. Lots of work to do still. Probably need to change the scale of the thing based on what size the enemy was too. So I'm hoping that I can just do this. Where am I at? in my enemy script, so if we do match, okay, hold on a second. Entity size. Okay, let me answer your question first, Ariane. Web developer stack. So the web developer stack that I typically worked with is, what was it? It was, so on the front end, we were using React, TypeScript with React, Tailwind. We were using, Webpack to build it, Tailwind for the CSS. And then for our server, we were using Nest.js, which is a REST API framework built on Express.js. And then we had a various number of backend services. So we were using Google Cloud Platform, or is that what it's called? Google Cloud Platform, I think so, for running Dockerized server images. And then also we had a Postgres database through there, but we also had Firebase, like real-time database and Firestore for some of our data. And we use Firebase hosting for like our CDN. So I think that's basically it. That's it's basically just JavaScript throughout the whole stack. Hopefully that answers your question. So I think it's pretty standard stack. Entity size dot small. Well, let's do this. Medium particles dot scale equals vector2.1 times 1.5, and then entity size dot large particles dot scale equals vector2.1 times 2. So we're going to try to scale the particles based on the entity size. And then I'm going to go to my enemy small. That's already small. Medium. Change this to medium, and then large. Change that to large. Let's see if that works. I hope it does. Oh. It kind of is working. Not exactly the way I want it to, but yeah, that may not work the way I want it to. I'm gonna have to come and revisit that, I think. Or I could just make it more subtle. Of course, there's not going to be a large enemy. It's probably okay for now. That's probably something that I can just address later on. So what I want to do now is if I kill an enemy like right alongside the edge, like the particles will pool over the edge, and that doesn't look good. So there's a way to fix that, but first, added more particles. So commit that. So if I go to my main, I've got this background layer, but I want to do something like background layer clipped. So if I do add child node, node 2D, background layer clipped. Actually, Let's do this. Change type, sprite 2D, texture. Let's do a region. And we're going to specify the width and the height as being, what is it? 450 by 250. So that's our region. We want this to be centered in the screen though. So position 320 by 180. So let's do that. Offset, no, not offset. Transform position 320 by 180. I think this is gonna work. Add child node. I'm just gonna add an enemy large. Put him like right there. And then if I do this and I say clip children, clip and draw. No, it doesn't work. Okay, here's a very hacky way I can do this. New, width 450, height 250. Save it. Clip mask dot png. And in here, texture. Let's do the clip mask. And do we want it centered? Is that not going to work? Am I misunderstanding how this mask works? Probably. I'm probably misunderstanding how this works. Okay, so it needs to be a solid color. Well, never to fear, because what I can do, I think, is new shader material, shader. I wonder if this is going to work. I'm just going to make it transparent with a shader. Effect. No, I want to go in resources. Resources, that's where I want. Shader. Clip mask. GD shader. Create. Go to my shader editor. Open that up. Fragment. Color.a equals 0. Did that really work? Nice. Okay, so now I've got that clip mask, and what's going to happen now is that... Oh, you know what? I should bring that clip mask in a little bit, so let's do this. I can give it, like, exact edges. So if I go to my arena... Basically just copy this. Paste it there. Preserving the edges. And then we can... Might as well just make this pure black. Clip mask. So now, if I instantiate a child scene, I do enemy small, for instance. So that enemy is going to be clipped. You see that? So it's like a mask, but that's not for the enemies. What it's for is for those death particles. Oh, but the problem is... Shoot. Problem is those are part of the same scene, so I'm gonna have to change that as well. Static func add node to background layer clipped. Oh my goodness. Background layer clipped is equal to background layer clipped instance.background layer clipped dot add child node. Is that going to work? So then I can go to my enemy when my enemy dies, those death particles there. Add node to background layer clipped. So I'll just show you what I'm doing here, and then I have to split up that particle a little bit. But if I get this guy into the corner here, and then I blah, see how it stays now that that effect is clipped? I might not even worry about the fact that the initial explosion gets clipped as well. I'm just mostly concerned about this staying like on the platform. So now it looks like it's those effects have been relegated to the platforms. So yeah, so now it's like a nice clean break. Let's try it on the downward. Yeah, I like how that looks. Nice. Very cool. Hello and woo. What am I building? This is so the GMTK Jam theme is built to scale. And what I'm doing is I'm making a player that has 3 different sizes and enemies that have 3 different sizes. And what you have to do is you have to switch actively to the player of the right size to kill the enemy of the right size. So as a small player, I can't kill this medium enemy, but I can kill the small one. And I'm going to, yeah, you just have to switch to whichever player scale is appropriate for the enemies that are immediately in front of you. And what's going to happen is that they're going to spawn in these waves like so. After you clear a wave, you'll get the ability to choose some ability upgrades, which change how your abilities work. And then there will be a boss at the end after like 10 or 5 waves or something. So that's basically the gist of the game there. But yeah, so that's basically it. Hello, Neozoid. That's all right. Thanks for joining. All right, so I think that I'm going to commit this and then I'm going to call it a day. So add clipping for pool effect. So yeah, I'm going to call it a day for now. I'm very hungry, so I'm going to go eat some lunch. It's actually like an hour and a half past my normal lunchtime. So I want to thank you all again for watching. I may be streaming later tonight. We'll see. So hit the notification bell to be notified of when my next stream is going on. And if you want to support my work, you could do so by checking out my Udemy courses and also my games on Steam, or you could just subscribe and watch my videos. That helps a bunch as well. So yeah, thank you all again for joining the stream today. It was a lot of fun, got a lot of work done, and I'm gonna go eat some lunch, take a small break, and I might be back later on in the evening with some updated progress, but we'll see. So, all right, everyone, have a good day, and I will see you in the next one.